Good morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rhonda Lohnert.
Chuck Williams is away from the desk, a little under the weather. He'll hopefully join us tomorrow. It's Wednesday, and you know what day it is. We try to get better each and every day with Jody Holland. He's away in Abilene, Texas this morning. Jody, how you doing, brother?
Doing absolutely fantastic. Going to get to do a little work with Hardin Simmons here.
A big day down in Abilene, working with growing professionals and growing management teams. And Jody, today we're going to dig into a subject, and it's almost a double-edged sword. It can be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, and it involves decision making and the group think idea. Tell us a little bit about what we're looking at.
So the concept of studying how and why people make decisions has been around for probably thousands of years, but for at least the last 100 years or so, people have been trying to figure out, why do people do what they do and how can we predict it? Back in 1972, there was a social psychologist named Dr. Irving Janis, and he was studying policymakers and trying to understand, how do policymakers make their decisions? And in particular, why do they make bad decisions when you have a group of really smart people all coming together seemingly to make the best decision possible? And a few of the things that he came up with is that we have a tendency to be somewhat irrational or even, possibly dysfunctional in our decision making when we're trying to create conformity or we're trying to just create harmony. So we give in and we give up on what we know to be right just so that we can go along. And in particular, he started by studying the Bay of Pigs invasion. That was, the failed military invasion of Cuba back in April of '61. But we had all these people in a room together, but you had this one person that wasn't like everybody else. And it was a military leader. He did Ivy League schools, and he wasn't from a rich family. Work. I think this is going to be a horrible, horrible idea. And they go, no. We know what we're doing. We've got to get Castro out of there. Here's how we're going to do it. And he tried to push back 2 or 3 times, and he finally just went along. And we see that negative peer pressure happen a lot in our world, but we also see positive. So flip it to the other side. I'll give you something a little more close to home for any UT fans out there anyway. When you think about some of the things that have gone on in UT football with Steve Sarkisian as the coach, and then you've got a couple of the players that were there, Sam and Bijan Robinson, relationships. I want my players to understand values. I want them to be good. And so he started talking about those things. Well, Sam and Bijan said, man, let's just start doing something. So they started picking things up in the locker room after the meetings and encouraging people and doing some things like that. And Sarkisian saw him those guys at one point picking up all the trash from the players. It's like, hey guys, you don't have to worry about that. We have people for that. And they go, okay, coach, thanks. But they just kept doing it. Well, pretty soon the other players started picking up and the other players started supporting each other more. So the negative side is you can make a bad decision when you're trying to go along. But the positive side is when you set an example, you can get other people to make better decisions to go along. So groupthink is going to influence the way people make a decision, whether it's bad or it's good, because we want the approval of other people. And every time I hear people say, oh, I don't care what people think, a lot of times those are the people that care the most what people think. They're just trying to convince themselves not to be upset. So it's a really cool concept when you think about groupthink, because we're always influenced by the thoughts or the emotions of other people. And when we're intentional about creating better decision-making skills, then we get over a lot of the negative and actually start making a positive impact in the workplace. So that's kind of the quick overview of that. So Rhonda, tell me, in your business, how does that influence people?
Well, I've noticed, like, let's just take the training. Um, I know that if I can get a group, it's going to be much more successful for each individual than it would be if I got them individually and tried to keep them motivated. So the group think idea, I think, really plays into, oh, yeah, we're all going to do this together. Everybody's going to do this, and we'll get it organized. And you find that these people, they kind of start doing the work for you, things that you thought you were going to have to do. But if you can get that, you know, rolling in the right positive direction, then I feel like I have more success with my groups than I do individuals.
Yeah. And so you start playing into that and you start thinking in every situation, you can apply peer pressure.
Hmm.
You just want to figure out how to apply it in the right way. And so, like what you're saying, I know when I exercise, if I've got somebody I'm supposed to even talk to about the fact that I exercised, I'm more likely to actually exercise. But
Absolutely.
if nobody's checking up on me, I may or may not because
Mhm.
it doesn't matter as much. So
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back,
there-
Jody Holland tells us more right here on the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2.